Hello, my name is Neha Chawla. I'm in a group with Enzo Cole and Mateo Diaz. Today we're going to be talking to you about next generation home appliances. For this project, we wanted to improve and redesign three major home appliances, which are the washing machine, the stove, and the vacuum cleaner. For this project, the purpose was to accommodate and create designs that are safer and more accessible to those who need it, as well as produce energy efficient and environmentally friendly products. The history of the washing machine began when the first recorded instance of laundry, about 3000 BC, where the people would use the rivers and other large bodies of water to wash the clothes, and boulders and wooden implements to beat the dirt and other impurities out of them. In 1752, the first actual washing machine conceptual design was created. It was featured in a magazine but never actually physically built. In 1797, the major milestone, the washing board, was made. This is where the user didn't have to pound or beat the clothes. Now they could just rub the clothes against the washing board's flutes and ribs to remove the impurities. In 1908, Alva J. Fisher works on James King's design of the drum washer, which is basically like the washing machine we have today, but instead it's hand powered, and Alva J. Fisher's is electric powered. In 1937, a company by Bendix Aviation creates the first automated washing machine, which used mechanical timers, switches to go through the cycle. In the 1970s, when electrical components were coming about, the use of mechanical timers and knobs and switches were reduced to be and replaced by mechanical microcontrollers. Our current designs haven't changed much in terms of mechanically how clothes are washed. Instead, they're all control system based, such as dry load sense and wet load sense. That's where the washing machine determines how many pounds of clothes the user has put in, what type of clothing, and based on those two, determine the water temperature and water level for that mixture of clothing. The second control system that has been implemented is brass matrix. This is where when the machine starts walking, or the drum starts walking, the washer tells the motor to slow down and have everything redistributed and then spin back up to fix that issue, as well as new cycles that are created for sanitation, clothing, and whatever the user has. New opportunities for new designs aren't much in terms of mechanical, but in terms of control systems, there's a great need for the handicap, where they have to overstretch to reach the controls of a washing machine. If we could create something with an app for their phones or tablets where they can access the washer's UI, or a control pad on the floor that they can use their wheelchairs on and go through the washer's UI, or something where they have Wi-Fi or infrared capabilities built into their wheelchairs. That way they can control all the home appliances that they have with one device. Now here's Enzo Cole.
Hello, I'm Enzo Cole, and I'm going to be talking to you about stoves. Now, stoves could be dated back super late, but one of the clay stoves, which were really popular in 221 BC. But if you want to fast forward a few hundred years later, when we actually started using cast iron stoves, in 1728 is when the five-plate and the jam stove actually came out. Then in the late 18th century is when wood-burning stoves actually became very popular, where you would use wood in order to create the fire and then be able to heat the surface of the stove so you could cook your food. But then in 1905, David Curl Smith, he actually designed and invented the configuration system in which we actually have today for our electric stoves. He took the idea he remodeled it based off of someone else's idea, but he actually improved it, and he's responsible for the layout in which we have today. But then gas stoves didn't actually started becoming popular in the 1910s, mainly due to the fact that companies started to cover the top surface of their stoves with an oblique glass material. This was helped to use with the heat distribution, as well as it made it very easy to clean, as far as and made maintenance a lot easier. Current practices of stoves, you have the gas stoves and you have the electric stove. The main difference between the two is just the electric stoves are actually cheaper to buy, and then the gas stoves is actually more effective in terms of cooking, because you're able to better control the fuel output and how high or low you want the temperature to be. Conceptual designs in which we have in place for stoves is putting the heating elements on a lift system, in which whenever the stove is turned off, it would lower the heating elements in order to help dissipate the heat on top of the surface. Another idea is implementing a tubing mechanism in which would run underneath the top surface of the stove, which would run eco-friendly cooling fluid throughout the top to also help dissipate the heat. Now here we have Mateo.
Hi, I'm Mateo Diaz, and I'll be talking to you about vacuum cleaners. Vacuum cleaners' history can go back to 1860, when Daniel Hess patented a design. However, there was no record of him ever making or manufacturing his idea. Then we fast forward into 1869, where Ives McGaffey was the first person to patent and actually manufacture his invention. That's why he's credited with the invention of the vacuum cleaner. Then combining 1898 and 1901, we have Jonas Thurman and Herbert Cecil Booth. They both created a gasoline-powered machine. However, Booth's design was superior in every way, and they were both the first mechanical operated cleaning systems. And in 1908, William Hoover purchased the patent rights from James Murray Spangler, where it was the first portable vacuum cleaner, which was made out of scrap pieces out of a department store where Spangler worked at. This machine was, like I said, the first portable or maneuverable machine, and it is basically mirrors or is the backbone to what vacuum cleaners we have today. Current practices or current vacuum cleaners, we have the home or household devices, which is the most common ones that everybody knows today. We have the industrial or commercial ones, which are more practical or more efficient for bigger areas to clean up bigger spills or bigger items that need to be picked up. In the industrial ones, we also have one that's called the shop vac, which can operate for dry materials, or there's another one that can operate for both dry and wet materials to pick up liquid spills or a combination of both. Then we also have the robotic one, which the robotic is an automated system which operates by itself. There's no user needed for this machine to operate. We have an illustration of the conventional vacuum cleaners, the shop vac, which is the commercial or industrial one, and the robotic one. An opportunity for a new design is to implement a lift system for the robotic vacuum cleaner, which would help it go from one floor to another one, up or downstairs, which it doesn't do today. So it will be a lift system implemented into the handrails of the stairs, which by a homing signal, the robot will find its way to the stairs, and the lift system will bring it up or down, and as well help clean each step along the way. In conclusion, there is really not much that can be mechanically improved to these systems, to these appliances. However, there is always room to improve the functions or the applications for these.